Coming to you live from the fabulous MediaPlex in downtown Windsor, this is a St. Clair College journalism presentation.
Hello, I'm Darren Breckles, and you're watching MediaPlex News Now. Supporters of the Idle No More movement marched down here on Church Road on Wednesday. I was there to find out more. Over 600 Aboriginal protesters and their supporters held a peaceful march on Wednesday, backing up tractor trailers and blocking traffic at the Ambassador Bridge for several hours. With their signs, speeches, chants, and slogans, they sought to send a clear message to the federal government and Prime Minister Harper that protests like this are only the beginning unless their voices are heard. Glenn Hare, Deputy Grand Council Chief on the Union of Ontario Indians, said that the impetus behind the Idle No More protests comes directly from the people and the chiefs are powerless to stop it. He demanded face-to-face dialogue between all the chiefs and the Prime Minister, or protests like this one will expand, he said.
Right. It's not right at all. The treaties that we hear so much about were signed with the Crown, not with the Prime Minister. And I think the request that's been asked for by all, not only Chief Theresa Spence, but all the leaders of Ontario, is for the Prime Minister and the Governor General to have a same room meeting with all the leadership of Canada, not separately, which is what happened last week.
For protester Ashley Stone, the march is about taking a stand to defend her national identity.
To take a stand, we have to protect the lands, we have to protect our waters, we have to protect who we are, and who we are as a nation.
Delaware First Nation Chief Greg Peters, one of the organizers, said the march was unprecedented and that First Nations people are united in their message to Stephen Harper.
Windsor has never seen a gathering of First Nations like this. We come together today as individual nations. We come together as one people to send a strong message that we are united.
For MediaPlex News Now, I'm Darren Breckles. Some of the protesters voiced their displeasure with recent legislation passed by the federal government. Ozzy Vizcaino reports.
Thousands of First Nations demonstrators joined the Idle No More protest to change Bill C-45, the omnibus bill that directly affects the rights of Native people.
But this fire!
Mary Deliri, an Algonquinian Anishinaabe, tells us the main reason behind the movement.
The movement is about many, many things, but at the core of it is our Mother the Earth, is our environment, is the protection of that. The way that our rights and our land and our environment that we all depend on, as everyone in Canada, in North America depend on, the greatest protection will come from the Indigenous people. And for us, that means that we must maintain our Indigenous title, our Aboriginal treaty rights, and our rights to protect this land.
First Nation citizens try to fight the Bill C-45 in order to keep all their lands protected. Kristen Jacobs, member of the Delaware Nation, speaks to us about her concerns regarding the bill.
The main part about that for me and my son is about the Navigable Waters Act that they're trying to pass, and how it only protects 97 lakes and rivers in Canada when there's thousands of lakes and rivers, and without water then we won't have nothing, because water is life and that's what sustains it.
The Idle No More protesters will continue to rally until they gain enough discussion with the government in keeping their rights and lands protected. I'm Ozzy Vizcaino reporting for MediaPlex News Now.
Although temperatures have dropped below freezing, Windsorites can now drink their favorite cups of coffee on sidewalk patios for the entire year. Council approved this one-year pilot project at last night's council meeting. Owners must have proper insurance coverage and remove snow from their patios in order to participate. Now let's check in with Jessica Brisebois to see what the weather's like on the corner of University and Victoria.
Well, Darren, it's the coldest day in 2 years, and it's freezing outside. Right now, it's minus 14 degrees Celsius, and tonight it will be minus 14, but it's going to feel like minus 24. I'll be back a little later to tell you what you can expect for the rest of the week. Back to you, Darren, in the warm studio.
Bill 115, meant to prevent teachers from striking, has been repealed. But our very own Steve Anderson captured the effect it was having in its final weeks.
School life isn't what it used to be. Students throughout Windsor aren't seeing dances, chess clubs, or even sports in their schools. Director of the Greater Essex County District School Board, Warren Kennedy, says it's because of Bill 115.
Bill 115 was introduced by the Liberal government. In a nutshell, it gave the Minister of Education sweeping powers, and the one that's probably causing the most angst is that she had the ability, as of December the 31st, 2012, to impose contracts across the education sector.
But to the teachers, it's so much more.
Bill 115 basically is the stripping of the rights in order to negotiate a collective agreement fairly between the boards and the specific unions. In this case, you're talking about District 9, which is Windsor. And all we want is the opportunity to negotiate like we have in the past. And in order to cut the deficit that they have in the province of Ontario, they decided to basically go after the public sector workers, of which we're a large part of.
So what exactly does this mean? Well, it would appear that until both sides can reach a deal that they both agree to, school's out on extracurricular activity. For MediaPlex News Now, I'm Stephen Anderson.
Over 100,000 attended the North American Auto Show on its first day. This marks a 12% increase from last year. Organizers expect this to be the best year ever for attendance. The cars of the future are on display at Cobo Hall. Sam McEachern shows us what we can expect on our streets in the next 2 years.
The North American International Auto Show is one of the key auto shows of the world. Since it is the first auto show in a new year, many manufacturers use the opportunity to unveil their brand new models for 2013 and 2014. Cars like the Jaguar F-Type, Acura NSX, and Honda's E-Vista are concept models that give showgoers an idea of what cars not too far into the future may look like, as well as give them an idea of where car design is headed. Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler always show up to the show with something interesting for their hometown, like Chrysler's all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee and the Ford Fusion. The Cadillac ATS, which won the Motor Trend Car of the Year at the auto show, is also on display. The award is highly coveted and reflects Cadillac's goal of becoming a new standard of the world. From Jeeps and vans all the way to exotic sports cars, this year's 2013 North American International Auto Show has something for everybody to see. The 2013 North American International Auto Show is held at Cobo Arena. The public show runs from January 19th to 27th. Thanks for watching MediaPlex News Now. I'm Sam McEachern.
If you've made a resolution to go on a diet this year, on this Health Minute, Faith Cody Woltz has a few tips for success.
Okay, so it's the middle of January, and if you're like most of us, you've already given up on your New Year's resolution. According to Psychology Today, the top 2 are behavioral commitments involving smoking and drinking. Another top resolution is dieting. If you're not part of the 40% that have already tossed in the towel, then here are some helpful tips to keep you on track. Have a plan. If you keep it too vague, there is no end goal and you'll lose your motivation. Have a goal that is specific, measurable, realistic, and trackable. Don't ban your guilty pleasure, because we all know we'll give in to those cravings. Although you shouldn't keep your kryptonite in the house, having it once a week will keep you on the right path. Don't starve yourself. If it feels like punishment, you'll never stick with it. Have fun with your diet. Investing in your mental energy and making positive, healthy changes will keep you excited about your diet. So focus on 1 or 2 areas. Team up with a friend, relative, personal trainer, or get a drill sergeant to help keep you on track. I'm Faith Cody Woltz, and this has been your Health Minute.
TSN's Michael Landsberg made a visit to the University of Windsor to kick off the school's Mental Health Week. Here's Ashley Davidson.
If you're depressed, you're probably not alone. Around 16% of Canadians have been diagnosed with depression. Michael Landsberg is one of that 16%, and so were many of the students and adults who showed up to hear him speak on January 14th at the University of Windsor.
Right now, it's OTR live from Montreal.
Landsberg is known as the outspoken host from Off the Record, a TSN talk show. He was asked to speak at the University of Windsor for Mental Health Awareness Week.
It's new to me over the past year, but over the past year I think I've done a lot of these events, and the more I do, the more I want to do. So if you ever had something in your life that you could say, that's my calling, I would say this is it, because now when I leave here, I will feel like, you know what, maybe I made a little difference in someone's life, and that's not a feeling that I would get from hosting a talk show, for instance.
Mental Health Awareness Week was put on by the University of Windsor Student Association. Josh Paglioni is one of the UWSA members who helped put on this event.
Last year we had Stephen Page from Bare Naked Ladies as a keynote speaker, and we felt that he was a name that would draw a lot of people to hear his stories about depression and struggles. So, I mean, it's a kickoff to the week of events, which are also a lot of interesting, fun events with a lot of arts, kind of, you know, art therapy. We have some panel discussions. We have some interesting stories by people who have struggled with mental health issues. But this is kind of the kickoff. And so this year we had Michael Landsberg. We thought that he would draw a lot of his fans in the sports world, and he's a great speaker, obviously. So that's kind of where the idea came from.
If you're dealing with depression, you don't have to do it alone. Contact your doctor or someone you trust. For more information, visit www.mentalhealthweek.ca. From MediaPlex News Now, I'm Ashley Davidson.
Windsor Regional Hospital is asking you to put on a hat to help children with health problems. Here's Melissa Iaruso for another Health Minute.
Windsor Regional Hospital has kicked off its 4th annual Hats On for Healthcare campaign, hoping to raise $25,000 for the Pediatric Radiology Suite at the Metropolitan Campus. The suite will permit Dr. Minton to provide x-rays, CT scans, ultrasounds, and MRIs to children with cancer and diabetes who require surgery. The hospital is asking citizens of Windsor and Essex County to support this campaign by donating toonies to the hospital and wearing fun hats February 13th at their schools and workplaces.
Hats On for Healthcare for Windsor Regional Hospital is like a dress down day, but only better. You get to wear a hat of your choice and donate $2 to Windsor Regional Hospital. Anybody from a grade school to a huge company like Windsor Family Credit Union or a sports team like Windsor Spitfires can participate. All you have to do is put a hat on and pay a toonie and you're in.
To date, this initiative has raised over $82,000 for the hospital. For further information or to get involved, contact Windsor Regional Hospital's Public Affairs Department at 519-254-5577 extension 52656. I'm Melissa Iaruso, and this has been your MediaPlex Health Minute.
Windsor police officers will be receiving a salary increase over the next 2 years. Rob Bennion reports on the details of the new contract.
Windsor police have hit the jackpot. An arbitrator's ruling awarded nearly $2 million to increase the police budget. The 11.59% boost to police salaries comes with a 4-year term. The increase brings Windsor's salaries in line with other Ontario police agencies. Sergeant Matthew Dasty said the Windsor Police Service had worked the previous 2 years without a contract, and that the new 4-year deal was better than other contracts they'd worked under in the past.
You know, it varies. I think this is a very, very great contract because of the terms. It's a 4-year deal, and usually it's usually 1 to 2 years. It depends. It really depends on what's on the table between the city and obviously the police association.
Dasty said that while the nearly 12% increase may seem like a lot, it's actually 4 smaller increases over the life of the 4-year term. Reporting for MediaPlex News Now, I'm Rob Bennion.
Windsor's Neighborhood Watch program has returned after a 6-year hiatus. In this edition of 5 Minutes With, James Zimmerman sits down with Police Chief Al Frederick to learn about his plan for the city.
Hi, I'm James Zimmerman, and today we're spending 5 minutes with Windsor Police Chief Al Frederick. So Chief Frederick, what are some of your short-term goals as Police Chief?
Good question, James. Well, one of the short-term goals I have has been mandated by the board, which governs my actions, and they want me to produce a 45-day plan of transformation for the Windsor Police Service, and I'm in the process of doing that today.
Okay. Can you give us any details to that 45-day plan?
Well, there's a few pillars, I would say. Okay. So one of them is going to be extensive leadership training throughout the organization. So we're going to train in the best manner we know how. We're going to bring in very innovative trainers from across the province to do that for us. We're going to look at a lot of policy changes. So those are two of the main pillars. We're in the process of recruiting, so we want to get the best people in the door, and then we're going to develop our frontline supervisors. So that's going to be the overall plan.
Okay, and where do we go after the 45-day plan? So what are some of your long-term goals?
Yeah, so long-term, I'd like to embark on a new strategic business planning process for the service. There's about 31 projects that we've already identified, strategic projects over the 1, 2, and 3-year terms. So we're going to be busy.
Awesome, awesome. Now, during the press conference, when you were officially named Chief of Police, you had mentioned changing the culture of Windsor Police Service. Can you explain what that culture means and just exactly how you plan to change it?
Sure. So in policing, like most professions, you're in a constant mode of change, I suppose. And we're not afraid of that, and we've been no strangers to that in the policing profession. So for example, when there's a decision in the Supreme Court of Canada in regards to search, for example, that means we change everything we do in regards to how we search persons or property. We also have legislative changes. We have differences in our use of force options. When I started 28 years ago, we didn't carry pepper spray, we didn't carry tasers, we didn't carry batons. Today we do. So those are all cultural changes, and that's the type of thing we're talking about.
Okay, very good. Now, after a 6-year hiatus, you decided to bring back the Neighborhood Watch program. Why did it fall off the table in the first place?
Well, it's a matter of interest. It's a matter of finding value and measuring the success of a program. So one thing that we're very interested in at the Windsor Police Service is measuring our successes, because a program is no good just for the sake of the program. So we have a tremendous interest in our community for that program, and we're going to measure its successes, and we're going to provide the support necessary for all of those people to succeed.
Okay, so why was it so important to bring it back then?
It was so important because it is effective, and the community wanted it, and it's congruent with what our goals are for community-based policing.
Okay, very good. Now, what has the chemistry been like between yourself, Deputy Police Chief Power, and Deputy Police Chief Duras?
That's a great question. James, we have great chemistry, and it's not just with us, but our whole senior leadership and with the entire organization. We're really coming together as a team. We're coming together very quickly, and we're getting some great results very early on. So I've known Rick Darris for 28 years, and of course I've worked closely with Vince Power over the same amount of time. So a lot of history there, and yet we all bring different talents to the table.
Good. So actually, speaking to that, how do they fit into your action plan for the future?
Yeah. So Vince Power is, Deputy Chief Power, is very strong operationally. His whole career has been spent in investigation services and patrol and tactical. He understands policing and all of the operations of the Windsor Police Services better than anyone. Rick Darris, on the other hand, comes from the OPP with a very similar experience, but yet from a different organization. So he fits in, bringing those different experiences to the table and allowing us to work together as a team to get the very best solution for our community.
Very good, very good. Now, they also applied for the police chief position. So was there a little jealousy when you were announced as top cop?
No, and I don't believe Vince did, and Deputy Chief Darris did, but he wanted, you know, he was of retirement age, I suppose, and he wanted a different challenge. And I don't think it was so important to him to be chief or deputy. He just wanted to belong to a team and affect change and help out, and he's got that opportunity.
Very good, very good. Now, recently you took to Twitter to show Windsorites a day in your life. So in what other ways does the Windsor Police Service plan to use social media to reach out to the community?
Right. So we're planning to leverage it as best we can in every facet of the organization. So right now, what we're doing is it's real time, as we all are aware. So it's allowing us to get our message out real quickly. So we're not having to rely on traditional media outlets to tell our story, tell it in the manner which we'd like to tell it, and get it out immediately. So that's one of the main bonuses of it.
Okay, just one final question. Now, you mentioned earlier this month that you were in support of Bill C-30,
Yes.
the Protecting Children from Internet Predators Act.
Yes.
Now, this bill does raise some concerns with the four minority governments. Minority government parties, rather. What are some of those concerns?
Well, they're thinking that it's a tool for us to snoop on people's internet usage and that sort of thing. It definitely is not that. It is a tool to assist us in investigating people who are abusing children.
Okay.
So I don't think there should be that fear that's out there, as long as we maintain what it's meant to do.
Very good, very good. Well, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you, James.
I'm James Zimmerman, and we've just spent 5 minutes with Windsor Police Chief Al Frederick.
And now we check in on Jessica for the rest of the week's weather forecast. Jessica?
We've all heard that no two snowflakes are alike, but did you know that it took 400,000 samples to prove it? Here's your forecast for the rest of the week. Wednesday will be partly cloudy with a high of -8 and a low of -14. Thursday will have cloudy periods with a high of -6 and a low of -11. Friday, we will have light snow, warming up to -4 and a low of -6. If you want to check us out, you can find all of our stories and videos at themediaplex.com. And be sure to follow us on Twitter at @the_MediaPlex or like us on our Facebook page at MediaPlex Canada. I'm Jessica Briesva, and Darren, next time, how about you come do the weather outside?
I think I'll try to stay where I am if I can. Hockey fans can rejoice now that NHL games have resumed. Kent and Wolf hit the streets of downtown Windsor to see what this means for sports bars.
We have reached an agreement, a new collective bargaining agreement. We'll get back to what was fast as we can.
My phone was ringing this morning and found out at 5 this morning, and just really happy that we're going to be playing.
Players are ready to play their hearts out for you. The wait is just about over. We can't wait to drop the puck.
The NHL lockout is over, and it may be affecting local business. Derek Ferrugia is one of the owners of the Dugout Sports Lounge on the corner of University and Olette.
Definitely going to affect business. It's for those off nights, weekday nights, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night, when business has been up and down. It's nice to have a few fans that want to come over and watch the game in a social environment.
The excitement of the NHL started back January 19th with over 13 games taking place. Sports fan Jaleel Sombers says the lockout has made him think twice about watching hockey.
But I'm not going to go out of my way to watch it. Like, nothing else has to be on for me to watch it, or if Alexander Ovechkin's playing, I'll watch it.
Though business was returned to downtown Windsor following the NHL lockout, it's still unclear how many fans we lost to labor stoppage. One thing's for sure, though, it's great to see hockey again. For MediaPlex News Now, I'm Kenton Wolf.
On today's Sports Talk, Kenton Wolf and Ashley Davidson talk NFL and Super Bowl.
Welcome to MediaPlex Sports Talk. I'm Kenton Wolf. Today I'm joined by our NFL panelist, Ashley Davidson. Ashley, there's some big news in sports right now. The NHL is back, but it's not the biggest. The biggest is obviously Super Bowl 47 in New Orleans between the San Francisco 49ers and the Baltimore Ravens. Ashley, why don't you talk about their NFC and AFC matchups? Obviously, there's some big games, and the two teams came over real big leads.
So, in the NFC game on Saturday, we had the San Francisco 49ers play the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta, and I can tell you that stadium is loud. So, it was more difficult for the 49ers to play in that stadium. That did not stop them from winning that game. They were able to overcome everything around them and the underdog title and win the game. They played hard, and Kaepernick was proving that he is a quarterback who can not only run the ball but throw the ball as well. Moving on to the AFC side, we had the Ravens take on the Patriots in New England, and that game was a complete rematch from last year's game. And the Ravens last year could not win that game. They could have kicked it into overtime, and that field goal was a miss. But this year, they ran all over the Patriots, winning 28-13. It was a huge underdog story for them, and definitely some sort of revenge for last year.
So why don't you set up this year's matchup in the Super Bowl for us?
So this year's Super Bowl will be the Ravens versus the 49ers, and it's actually for sure a family affair. Both coaches, Jim and John Harbaugh, are brothers, and it's not only fighting for a Super Bowl championship, but they're fighting for family bragging rights as well. Not only that, we have the rookie quarterback of the 49ers, Colin Kaepernick, who is making his debut this year, and he will be taking on the Ravens and their retiring linebacker, Ray Lewis. And after 17 years in the NFL, Ray Lewis wants another Super Bowl. So this game is going to be a tight one. It's really going to be a matter of who wants it more, because both teams are an underdog and going into this game.
Now, as I understand, both quarterbacks play very similar games. Why don't you tell us some of a little bit about that?
So I guess we have Colin Kaepernick, right? He's proving that he is a strong enough quarterback to be here. He has always wanted to play for the 49ers, and he got his wish this year. He is more of a rushing quarterback than anything, though, and that's his main thing, is the fact that he can run. In the divisional round, he ran against the Packers for 183 yards, which is a new record in the NFL. Joe Flacco, on the other hand, is not a runner. He is more of a thrower, and that's a good thing, because he has one of the strongest arms in the NFL.
Well, this has been Sports Talk Super Bowl edition. I'm Kenton Wolf.
And I'm Ashley Davidson.
St. Clair College and Cogeco have recently teamed up for another live broadcast. Mamdou El-Shami reports.
St. Clair College and Cogeco have teamed up to bring the Saints varsity games live to Windsor, Essex. The Saints played a doubleheader of men's and women's basketball against the Fanshawe Falcons January 9th. It will be the first time a St. Clair College varsity game will be broadcast live in over 18 years. Games last went live in 1994. Paul Tan, a producer with TV Cogeco, says St. Clair and Cogeco have always had a good relationship, and they are excited to be working together.
I think this year, these two games that we're doing now, we're doing a doubleheader tonight of basketball, and we're doing a doubleheader in 2 days of volleyball. And it's kind of a little test to see how everything goes. So far, it's been really good. I think we're waiting to really hit the ground running hard when the new facility is built.
Most of the production team are either current or former St. Clair College students. TV director Darren DiCarlo is a graduate of the journalism program at St. Clair College.
One of the special things is that everyone on this production is a St. Clair College student, so it's really showing everyone what St. Clair College, journalism and new media program can really do on a live television event. I think it's really great for the program and also the students to get a really hands-on experience.
Games were hosted by current students. Brett Hedges is studying journalism at St. Clair and is the host for the first live broadcast on January 9th.
I am the host of tonight's broadcast. I am the director of varsity for the Student Athletic Association, and I'm also an intern at TV Cogeco. So instead of killing two birds with one stone tonight, I'm going to be the host of tonight's broadcast.
With the new state-of-the-art healthplex being built, plans are to broadcast most varsity sports live in the future.
And in 2 days, the gym behind me will be transformed for St. Clair College's volleyball broadcast. Reporting for MediaPlex News Now, I'm Mamdou El-Shami.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Darren Breckles, and you've been watching MediaPlex News Now.
MediaPlex News Now is a production of the St. Clair College Journalism Program.